Hey kiddos, what we are talking about today is subject-verb agreement. Okay, so we already know about a subject of a sentence, right? We've talked about this before. This is something we talked about right at the beginning of the year. The subject is what the sentence is all about. And we know what a verb is. Remember, we reviewed those at the beginning of the year. It's the action, it's what the person or the thing in the sentence is doing. Okay, subject-verb agreement means that a sentence must agree to work together. So let's talk about what that looks like, okay? So when we are talking about subject verb agreement, there are several different ways that we can talk about this, okay? Now, when we're talking about first person, so that means I'm the one talking. It's I, it's me, or it's we, okay? Like me and my friends, we went to the movies, okay? So it's a statement to someone about myself, yourself, okay? When it is singular, it means I'm by myself. It's just me hanging out. So my verb has to match this. I walk to school. I play tag, okay? I run fast. So when I'm talking about just myself, and I'm talking about myself and it's singular, my verb is also going to be singular. Now, if I'm talking about other people, the rule is a little bit opposite, okay? The subject is plural, which means more than one, but my verb is still singular, okay? Normally, this will always be the rule. If the subject is plural, the verb is singular. If the subject is singular, the verb is plural. But the only time that's going to be different is when I'm talking about I, okay? I. That's the only exception to the rule. I, and there will always be a singular verb. But when we have a plural subject, we, okay, that means more than one person. So I'm talking about a group of people, me and a group of people. My verb is still going to be singular. And what I mean by that is there's no S on my verb. So let's look at a different example. When I'm talking about you, okay, you walk to school, okay, you play tag, you run fast. But when it is in third person, listen, I'm going to be really honest with you. I'm not worried about this part. Your second person is not going to be super, super often. Just know that if it says you, the verb is singular. What I want to show you is what it's going to look like when my verb has an S. I don't know where my arrow went. Okay. So third person, he, she, it, they. Okay. What that's going to be is whenever, it's just like down here with the plural. Whenever my subject is singular, my verb is going to have an S on it. So it's singular. He's by himself. What's he do? He walks. It has to have an S on the end of it. She, by herself, the verb has an S on it. Mark, by himself, verb has an S on it. Okay. But when I'm talking about a group of people, plural, okay, then my verb is going to not have an S on it. They walk. The kids play. Kai and Tim. So that means more than one. The kids, notice how there's an S on here. So this does not need an S. Kai and Tim, that's two people. They run fast. Okay. This right here is the normal rule that you're going to see most of the time. Okay. The third person rule. And it's important to know this rule. And that when it's you and I, so those are the two times, you and I, my verb does not have an S. Every other time, if it is more than one person, it is going to have an S on it. If it's only one person, no S, okay? No S. So let's look at some of these in some examples. I know that's kind of a hard thing to understand, okay? So let's look at some examples. You blank your teeth daily. Okay, so what do we notice about our subject? It is you. And what do we just say? When the subject is you, that means my verb is not going to have an S. So here are my two options, brushes or brush. Which one fits here? It's going to be brush because my subject is you, so I do not have an S. Let's look at another one, okay? My sentence, I. What do you notice about your subject? I. And I know that when I'm talking about I do not have an S. I eat fruit and vegetables. I eats fruit and vegetables. Well, and think about it too. What's my rule? But does it sound right? Probably isn't right. So this one is going to be eat because when it's I and when it's you, there is no S on our verb. Okay? Now, Tina, we have to ask ourselves. Okay, so it's not an I, it's not a you. So now we have to ask ourselves, How many people am I talking about? Well, I'm only talking about one. When I'm talking about one person, when my subject is singular, when it's talking about one, then what's going to happen is my verb has to have an S. Tina drank a lot of water or Tina drinks a lot of water? Drinks. When the subject is only one, the verb has an S. Let's look at another example. Lisa and Sue. Well, it doesn't have an I, doesn't have a U. So now I have to ask myself, how many people? Lisa and Sue. That's two people. So I know that my verb does not have an S. Okay. So I'm going to choose C. Lisa and Sue see the moon. Okay. That making sense, kiddos? I, you, and when it is more than one. So look, this is two people here. I am not going to put a verb on or an S on my verb. Okay, so no S here. All right, kiddos, your job the next couple of days is going to be to pick some sentences out like this. Okay, so we know that it's I, you, and only one person. We're going to add, no, I and you, no S. Two or more, no S. But if it's only one person, then they get an S on the end of it. All right, kiddos, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for working hard for me today.